If you're looking to invest in the real estate market of Dubai, it's extremely important to understand the map of Dubai and how everything is laid out with all of the communities and infrastructure in the city. Today, I'm going to go through the map of Dubai, all the different areas that you can sort of consider so that you can make the best informed decision possible. So before going into the map, I think it's really important to really understand how quickly Dubai as a city has grown from when the freehold market had opened up in 2002. Now, on Google Earth, what you can actually do is go back in time in the city. So you can see this is what the map of Dubai looks like currently. I can go all the way back to 2002 and you can see how developed the city of Dubai actually was back then. You can see most of the city was concentrated in the north. The north of the city, which is Deira and Bur Dubai, was actually just Dubai at the time. And as the years have gone on and the years have progressed, you can see the city slowly expands outwards to the south to where we are today as the city looks like this currently. So it's an extremely quick growth for a city globally. If you compare London to how Dubai has grown, I'll put them side by side, you can see exactly how little development London has had compared to Dubai. And that's why people have made exceptional growth in the city of Dubai when compared to other global cities such as London. I think it's also really important to note as well, in 2002, Dubai was really the same Dubai for everyone. Everyone did the same things, went to the same malls and really knew the same place just because it was such a small place. Dubai today is a completely different area where different people in different parts of the city experience different day-to-day lives, different malls, different schools, different amenities and different things to do. I can speak from personal experience because I used to live in Production City where the mall that I would go to was Dubai Hills Mall, and the things that I would do and the restaurants that I would go to were completely different to where I live now in Dubai Creek Harbour. The mall that I mainly go to is Festival City Mall. So it's really important to understand that Dubai as a city now has almost micro communities and different lifestyles to live in. It's not the same city for everyone, and that is mainly based on the fact of where you are living within that city. Just to bring up a map of Dubai, this is a map of the city, which has been labeled with all of the key areas, or basically all of the areas in Dubai that you need to really understand. Now, it looks very complicated and very in-depth, but I'll break it down slowly so you can really get an understanding of how the city is laid out. Now, the main first thing that I want to do to explain the city is to lay what I call the skeleton of the city, which is essentially the main road networks. And as you can see now, you've got Sheikh Zayed Road, which is what I class as really Zone 1 Dubai. And then you've got Al Khail Road, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road, E311. Then you have the E611 Emirates Road at the back of the city. And as you can see, these roads go deeper and deeper into the desert. The best way to sort of describe these roads, as I mentioned, is by zones. So we don't really have a zoning system as we would do, for example, in London, but we can sort of say that these roads are indicative of where those zones are. So Sheikh Zayed Road, people class as Zone 1, and anything kind of past E611, people do class as kind of Zone 5 in the city. Now, the first thing I always like to explain is where the original city of Dubai was, which was Bur Dubai and Deira, and this is located here. You can see this is where the current airport is, DXB, is located very close by, and obviously 20 years ago when Dubai was just Bur Dubai and Deira, having this airport close by was extremely important and strategic. Now, on top of that, what we currently have in the city is not one city centre. The city we have today is not one city centre as we would say, for example, with other cities in the world. There are really two hotspots and two main centres to consider. The first one is what I call the Burj Khalifa district. So this is Business Bay, Downtown and DIFC. DIFC being an area which operates under a completely different legal system. And then the other city centre is really the Marina, Jumeirah Lake Towers and the Palm Jumeirah, which isn't as businessy as the Burj Khalifa area, but is where a lot more holiday goers tend to come because obviously you have the ocean, the palm and the beach all located in that given area. As you'll probably notice, these areas are both on Sheikh Zayed Road, so obviously are very central as I've mentioned, but this is what people, if they live in Dubai, class as the city centres and the hotspots of the city. In between downtown and Marina, you have Al Quoz, which is an industrial area and it's a large parcel of land here. Next door to Al Quoz, you have Al Barsha. Al Barsha is a large piece of land. At the top of it, you have Barsha Heights, which is a free zone where a lot of offices are based. But mainly Barsha is not available for freehold purchase. It's only available for the locals to buy their villas. And if you were to walk through Barsha, you'll see that it's mainly local villas which look like this. Next to Barsha, you have an area called Emirates Living, which was launched in the early days of Dubai and started to hand over late 2000s and early 2010s. This is called Emirates Living, developed by Emaar. You have really nice villa and townhouse communities, such as Emirates Hills, which is really known as the Beverly Hills of Dubai. It's all on a golf course. You have meadows, you have the lakes, you have the springs, and you have other communities which sit next door to it, such as Jumeirah Park, Jumeirah Islands, which are actually developed by Nikhil. If we then come to the downtown side, the main villa and townhouse community, which is close as possible to that area, is going to be District 1, which is developed by Nikhil and centered around crystal lagoons, which are already operational, as you can see. If we come a little bit more into the desert, you get more of what I call the central suburb locations. So in the central suburbs, which is a nickname I've sort of given these areas, you have locations such as JVC, JVT, all the way down to locations such as Town Square and Mirror Oasis. In these central suburbs, you have a mix of different types of communities and what they offer. For example, JVC is predominantly an apartment community. JVT is predominantly a townhouse and villa community. Arjan is an apartment community. And if we go all the way down to, for example, Town Square, it's really a mix of both, of apartments and townhouses, and Mirror Oasis, just townhouses. So you have a good mix of types of properties in these sort of locations. If I then bring you a little bit more to the right, you have this stretch of land which sits in between the E311 and the E611, which is really a parcel of land which is predominantly used for villa and townhouse communities. Here you have some really popular areas such as Arabian Ranches 2 and 3 as well as other communities which are going to be coming online. For example, Haven, Athlon and the Acres. Also a little bit further down, you then come closer to where we have Al Ain Road, and you have pretty established townhouse communities such as Villanova and a villa community called the Villa Project. Again, it's worth noting as we kind of look in this certain area, alongside E311, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road, you also have a really unique community called Al Barari, mainly a villa community with some apartment buildings there as well, which is centered around a lot of trees and forest, which is very unique to have in the desert of Dubai. But alongside that as well, around this area, you have residential communities, which are mainly for apartments. For example, Meyjan or the City of Arabia. If we then look a little bit more right and then we head towards Al Ain Road, we'll see an array of communities which are kind of dotted around this road. A lot of people live in these areas but want to work in the area of downtown because Al Ain Road is not really a road which is congested that often. You have really key communities. For example, you have the Emirates accommodation located here. You have District 11, which is a very interesting concept where freehold plots have been sold to different private developers to build some really luxury villas. All the way up to Al Ain Road, you then get Meydan, which is really a large parcel of land where different communities really sit within. Here you have communities such as Nad Al Shiba Gardens, which is completely off plan and coming online in the next few years. You have areas such as Shoba Heartland 2, and Azizi Venice, which are mainly apartment communities with some villas and townhouses within those two. A really key area to kind of look at too, which is sort of sitting next to Meydan and on Al Khail Road, is Dubai Hills Estate. It's a very good community developed by Emaar, which is predominantly, if you look at it on a map now, villas and townhouses, with some of those villas centered around a really lovely golf course. But there are a lot of apartments which are coming online in the next few years in this given area. And it has probably one of the most popular malls for the residents of Dubai, which is Dubai Hills Mall. If I take you a little bit further back from Al Ain Road, you have a couple of key communities which are really what I class as Zone 5 Dubai, but really some people do consider as really strong investments because you can buy in at a really low price point today. These are the Valley. The Valley sits just on Al Ain Road, as you can see here. And then you have Damak Hills 2, which has been a community in this location for a long time. And a lot of people had viewed this as very far away, but as the city has expanded, especially into the desert, has actually now become more connected and more central than what it was before. Now, as you can probably see on a satellite map of Dubai, you'll notice a lot of the development in the city kind of stops just before we get into what we call Dubai South. Dubai South is a really key area because the airport which I mentioned earlier, the current airport, will completely shut down and all operations will move over to where Dubai South is. And it will be the world's largest airport called Al Maktoum Airport. As you can see right now, it's pretty underdeveloped, but this is great for any investors trying to get in early and benefit from the early prices as the market continues to rise in that given area. Here you have some really key infrastructure projects. For example, you have Expo City, which will be the next city center of Dubai, almost alongside downtown and the Marina. You also have Dubai South Residential District, which acts as the similar concept as what you have with the central suburbs, where you mainly have apartments, as well as townhouses and villas, which are handing over here too. And then on the other side of the airport, which is really now even benefiting from people who are wanting to work in Abu Dhabi but live in Dubai, you have key projects coming up. For example, Emaar South, which is semi-completed with some more phases handing over, and a government project called Hayat, which is some villas and townhouses handing over in the next 3 to 4 years. As you'll see too, you can see there is a second palm which is twice the size of the Palm Jumeirah. The Palm Jumeirah, as most of you would probably know, is completely developed, and the price that you get in there is already at a high with limited potential for growth on these assets. The Palm Jebel Ali is completely new. There is no current development that you can live in there, but there is a lot of projects coming online in the next few years. They are now launching the villas and very, very shortly going to be releasing apartments which investors can really make some good capital gains on. One of the key areas that I think people do often overlook, and I understand why you would overlook it because you can't buy a residential property here, is the Jebel Ali port. This is highlighted here and is a massive contributor of the Dubai economy. People think that the biggest parts of the Dubai economy are things like real estate and things like tourism, but in reality, the biggest contributor of our economy is wholesale, retail and trade, which sits at 26%. The massive driver of this 26% all comes from the Jebel Ali port, where massive importing and exporting takes place and will probably pick up in the next few years, given that the tariffs from Trump has really affected the Chinese market. So we're going to see a lot of people importing into Dubai, benefiting from our low tariffs and then exporting them back out to the US. Another key area that I always like to explain to investors, especially those who are interested in buying a property on the water, is the area of Sakim and Jumeirah. The reason for that is it's a very, very key and prime piece of land. As you can see, it's directly on the beach. But most of these areas are not available for freehold purchase for anyone who is non-GCC, which means those areas which are on the water and are freehold have a really good opportunity to see some really positive capital appreciation with the years to come. So that is really, as a brief, how I would explain the city of Dubai and what different areas you can buy into. I think it's important to understand as well, there are different types of communities that you can take a look at. There are obviously townhouse communities and villa communities, and also apartment communities as well. And I'm just going to highlight on the map now with this key, which will basically explain where those townhouse and apartment communities are laid out throughout the city. On top of that as well, especially people who don't really know Dubai too well, they're not too sure if they can buy a property in Dubai freehold. In Dubai, you can buy freehold property, which is exempt from anything that the government wants to do. So if they want to build a new train line through your property, they cannot do that in these designated areas. I'm going to show you these areas on a map now, and those areas in green highlight those freehold areas. On top of that as well, a really key thing to understand between the two types of communities you can get are what we call master communities and multi-developer communities, which is a video I go through and explain the differences on in one of my past videos on this channel. I'm going to also highlight those areas which are master communities and multi-developer communities on the map too. Now, the metro lines in Dubai, people often think are quite expansive, and they expand throughout the city. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people use the metro lines daily, especially when they're getting from one point of where they're living and where they're working. But it doesn't go throughout the whole of Dubai. To show you exactly where the lines run now, they mainly run over Sheikh Zayed Road. This is where you have the red line. And then they kind of go through the old part of Dubai, Deira and Bur Dubai, with the green line, as you can see here. There have been a lot of talks of new lines coming, different colors coming, but to be completely transparent with you, there is only one confirmed new line coming, which is the blue line, which extends from the green line and the red line towards where the old part of Dubai is, and all goes all the way down to the academic city area, as you can see on your screens. There is also the Etihad rail, which is set to come. This rail is a high-speed train which is going to connect eventually all of the Emirates of the UAE and hopefully one day all of the GCC countries. In Dubai, there are only 2 locations which are confirmed to have a stop. These are Al Jadaf and Jumeirah Golf Estates Phase 2. So why does all of this information matter to investors? If you're buying an off-plan property, it can be very, very easy to get caught up with whatever area a new project is launching in. Generally, when a new project launches, that developer spends a lot of money to market that particular project. And for that particular period of time, all you might hear about is that one given area. But with this video, it should hopefully give you an overview of the market. It's important to understand the pipelines of where new projects are coming. And armed with this information, you can use a combination of patience and a wider understanding of the market to really find the best investment that is going to work for you in the long term. If you also follow the growth of Dubai, you'll understand that this is not random growth, but a strategic growth which is all mapped out by the government. It's important to understand that Dubai grew from a small fishing town to where we are now with 6 strategic master plans. We're now on the 7th master plan, and within the 2040 master plan, being the 7th master plan, there's a lot of growth which is located in very strategic and particular areas of Dubai. For example, Dubai South with the new airport coming in that location. Are you already working with an agent that you trust? The reason I ask this is because in the UAE, agents are paid on commission and not on a salary. Every single developer is available through every agent. And if you're already working with an agent that you trust and has given their time to you, I would advise for you to carry on working with them as their time is extremely valuable. However, if you've not found an agent that is able to show you the whole market and give you unbiased advice, please feel free to reach out to me below. I'll be more than happy to help you with the entire UAE market. If you like this video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. And if you have any thoughts or comments, please comment them below in the video. I do try my level best to reply to as many as possible as I can.